Good morning to you. I am Mark Sudduth, and here's what's up in the tropics. It is Monday, the 19th of September, 2022. Quite busy out here. We have Hurricane Fiona, of course, bringing devastating rainfall to Puerto Rico, hurricane conditions there as well. Now it is over the eastern parts of the Dominican Republic, not far from moving back out over the Atlantic, where it is forecast to strengthen, and it should do so in quite a hurry, becoming the season's first major hurricane. I think that's almost a guarantee. We also have to watch a couple of other areas out there. This one is highlighted, and then there's this area right down here. It looks pretty benign right now, but that could go on to create some trouble here over the next few days. This is the 5-day outlook. Again, nothing right down here, but I think that's eventually going to change as there is some model support for a tropical wave that's out there to try to start to develop as Fiona moves out. In the eastern Pacific, we have Tropical Storm Madeline, and then a couple of other areas of disturbed weather. It's just been basically busy in the eastern Pacific since July, and it shows no signs of stopping anytime soon. Luckily, no major direct impacts for our friends in Mexico. Looking at the track map, there's Madeline in the eastern Pacific. That will move west away from the Mexican coastline, and then of course there's the track for Fiona. That'll move off of the Dominican Republic today, scooting just east of the Turks and Caicos, probably bringing some rather squally conditions there. And then it's going to be all eyes on Bermuda to see how close Fiona tracks to Bermuda, and then it should head up into the northwest Atlantic, possibly affecting Newfoundland later on. We will deal with that in the coming days. Satellite animation, very well established outflow in the upper levels of the atmosphere with Fiona there. Easy to see that. It is over land right now, so it is not able to strengthen much at all. In fact, it's probably getting torn up just a little bit over that fairly rugged terrain, but once it moves out over the very warm waters, it'll start to strengthen again. There's the one area that's indicated in yellow from the National Hurricane Center, but it is this area down here. Doesn't look like much now, but there's definitely an impulse there, and we're going to need to watch that as it tracks into the Caribbean over the coming days. First few frames of the morning visible satellite, there's the center of Fiona about right there, not far from coming out over the water. Once it does so, it'll really start to strengthen again. A very well-defined hurricane, and this could become very intense in the southwest Atlantic as it moves on towards Bermuda and beyond. And then very concerning over here in Puerto Rico, just continuous bands of rain, very heavy thunderstorm activity with that as well, occasional lightning and thunder, and just excessive rain, and in some cases approaching 3 feet of accumulated rainfall, with devastating results, as we have seen already from official reports and social media. We can see that here on the radar out of San Juan. Luckily, it is still working. That was destroyed during Hurricane Maria almost 5 years ago, and you can see those bands there just training continuously over Puerto Rico. A very unfortunate situation, really highlighting once again that rain is an absolute impact, and I think it should be incorporated into some type of a new scale. Getting ahead of myself here, I'll talk about that more on my hurricane outlook and discussion later today, but this is bringing catastrophic conditions to parts of Puerto Rico, and so calling it a Category 1 hurricane, I think, does a disservice to what we are seeing from the impacts down there. All right, so here's the Vorticity Signature. I mainly want to point out this feature right here. We're going to have to watch that as it gets into the Caribbean over the next several days, and we can see that here on the GFS. This is the 5-day animation. Fiona there leaves the Dominican Republic, heads up into the western Atlantic, passing very close to Bermuda, and then that next impulse, either the GFS is overdoing it again, it's done that a couple of times this year, or it's picking up on a signal that something else is going to try to develop. In fact, even the European model, the ECMWF, develops this system once it gets into the western Caribbean, so it is definitely something that we need to keep an eye on in the coming days. All right, I'll be back this afternoon with a more in-depth look at everything. It is Monday, so we're going to have a nice long discussion about everything going on in the tropics, and of course the latest with Fiona. That'll be in my hurricane outlook and discussion video again later this afternoon. I hope you'll join me for that. As always, thanks for tuning in to What's Up on the Tropics. Again, I am Mark Sudduth. I'll be back with more for you later today.